Yo, yo, yo. What's the good word? Back with another s- spiel. I just be on here freestyling, honestly. Sometimes I'm like, should I write these things out? But I'm like, I just like to naturally get things off my chest. Shout out to these uh vibe these massage guns, man. These are so necessary in my life. Like I really don't know what I would do without a massage gun. Or what I was doing before that. Especially if you active out here. But so yeah, uh, I I recently linked up with this random Jamaican girl, cause that's what handsome, functionally depressed niggas do. Some of us, I guess, that is a thing, like sexuality. You know what I mean? That's what we do. But I find that funny. But anyways, randomly, we're kicking it, we're chilling. First time I ever met her, type shit. And she was born in Jamaica. I was born here. So she's like, I just find it interesting. I'm starting to notice this pattern where like, especially Jamaicans that were born in Jamaica and like moved here, especially the ones that like moved here recently, I think. They're just quick to like tell you, yeah, but you weren't born in Jamaica, so you're a tourist. So, but that was the first time anyone has ever called me a tourist. I'm like, damn, and I feel like my ego like tugging at me because that's not the first time I went to another random Jamaican restaurant and like this cute waitress there was pretty much saying the same thing. Like I'm not a Jamaican, even though I was like raised in the culture to the point where I got made fun of for being Jamaican and like I felt too Jamaican for Americans. Um, and this pattern that I notice in it, and like I be wanting to react. I feel it in me. I'm more mature now. I'm older now, so I try to think and like I'm more cerebral or whatever as I get older. But instead of just reacting and like feeding into, because it's like they're tugging me to like to react and like say some shit like prove myself that I am Jamaican. Mine is a yard, man. And like, but I'm like, but I think deeper, the complexities of life. And I think I tweeted that trying to understand the complexities of life is where the suffering comes because I've been dealt with a very complex card, and I said to her last night too, because we're talking about family and all this shit. It's just like, you know, well, we were just born. You know what I mean? We were just born into my family. None of us picked our families. It's just like, hello, these are the cards you're dealt, and and trying to wrap your head around and understanding things. Again, it's like where I feel like the depression comes in, or just whatever mental illness, whatever suffering you want to call it. Because my cards are, I'm, I feel in my soul, like somewhere deep down, that I am a Jamaican man. Because I do feel the difference. Is like there's a slight difference in culture and maybe mentality and whatnot. But I've just been rejected. So that's the title of this, the rejection. And I'm gonna read y'all comments afterwards. I just gotta get this off my head. But the rejection I've faced like that, like if I was to write a book, and I keep thinking about this, I need to write a book because like I'm putting shit out on my music, my streams. It's like y'all not really listening. People aren't catching the message because it's really I just want to deliver messages like based off of what I've been through. It's my own sole purpose in like being a rapper, at least like the rapper side of me, the writer side of me, is to inspire based off of what I've been through. But, I'm like, damn, should I write a book? And I'm like, okay, what would the book title be? And I was just thinking today, oh, it probably would be Rejection. Because again, even to this day, it's like, yeah, Yankee. This chick called me a tourist. I'm like, what? Like, I spent summers in Jamaica. Like, I've like whole summers back to back. Been several times. I've only been as a tourist maybe twice out of the 15 times I've been, and like both my parents are Jamaicans. And then some people would say you are Jamaican, like both your parents are Jamaican, but then like some Jamaicans, like they kind of like shun you or shame. Like, I don't know if shame is the right word, but it's like, uh, it could trigger guilt, it could trigger things to make you feel rejected, unworthy, and whatnot. But it was a joke growing up. It's like my uncle would call me a Yankee and all this stuff. But for me, it was just jokes. But then after a while, I realized like uh, the rejection that was there. And so even now, I consider myself black. I'm very like black. Like, it's like I just look at it because the world kind of treats us different. A black tall man everywhere I go, multiple countries and cities and all this stuff. Um, it don't matter, like Haitian, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Black, American, Jamaican. It's just like you black. Like that's the first thing they see, and that's why I took it upon myself to study the heck out of Black history and like find out the people who's really telling the truth about us and like the real history of all of us as a total. But again, the complex cards I was dealt. So for Jamaicans, I'm not Jamaican enough. But then for Americans, like for instance, Tariq Nasheed, who I rock with, Tariq, like I don't agree 100% with anybody, any human being, but like if I was to say about anybody, like anything Tariq says about black people, I pretty much trust and like I pay attention to that, like I mean, I don't follow him every day and try, I try not to like get soaked into it because it do be like a lot of negativity, but he's fighting for reparations. And this is probably the furthest I've seen, in my lifetime. I've been hearing about it and stuff, but like this is the furthest I've seen anyone get to actually achieving some sort of reparations. And according, his whole thing is his push now recently is the difference between foundational black Americans and non-foundational black Americans. And I get it. I think he's a little hardcore and some people might not understand it. Like I'm split right down in the middle. I get it. I was raised around Jamaicans and they do completely separate themselves from other people, not just black Americans, but Haitians, whatever. It's just like we're not in that thing that, we don't do them Yankee things. We're not, they talk, it's not, I'm not saying all, but like that is a thing where like we're very like in our rooted in our culture, our gang, our roots. Black people are very tribal, so that's just everywhere. Um, Nigerian, Ghanaian, like everyone's rooted in their thing and very tribal and to our downfall, in my opinion, for sure. But so I follow Tariq. I really rocks with Tariq. I bought every single one of his documentaries, and yeah, I trust his information over mainstream media and mainstream education. Uh, and his whole thing is like, yo, if you're not a foundational Black American, you don't qualify for reparations. And I get it for what he's fighting for something very specific, because what uh the dominant society would say is like, like the reason I feel like black people haven't gotten reparations or nowhere near closer is because of the complexities, it's just like black people from all over, and like I'm not 100% sure my ancestors in Jamaica were slaves. I mean, I kind of assume so, but you know, um, he's fighting specifically for black Americans that can root and trace their origins to like black Americans that were like slaves, like, in this country. And the reason he's going so hard to point out the foundational versus the non-foundational is because of all the prejudices and all the all the ignorant ass mentalities of Africans and Caribbeans and people like my family. I'm not gonna say, you know, my like people like my roots and my heritage. Um, because we do like uh go out of our way to like separate to the point where again I've been rejected all my life. Um uh because I just never fit into any box. Um so yeah, the complexities of life because again, I look at life and its purpose. So also too random thing that I saw. I don't know if it's 100% true, but like I heard the Green Ranger like offed himself. Like I didn't. He was only 49. You know the for those that don't know the actor who plays the Green Ranger in Power Rangers, he's only 49 and he recently died. And I didn't even think it was suicide, but yeah, they're saying like he offed himself, and it just always makes me think about mental health. And then like my heroes, you know, he was definitely like a chat, like a, a a dope chapter, just like point in life, like Power Ranger part of like whatever. But it makes me think about the complexities of life and the cards that were all dealt. So, you know, the cards that I was dealt, I wasn't born into a loving family. I was rejected. You know, I wasn't accepted by the people that look like me growing up. Because I didn't fall into anything. I didn't want to like I liked hip hop, so I didn't want to go to a bunch of Jamaican parties and like listen to nothing but Jamaican music all night. You know, like I fell in love with hip hop. So I wasn't like accepted into Jamaican culture, but then like because of my individuality or whatever, if that's a word. Um I never felt accepted in hip hop either, or because it's just like these execs and these people just want me to rap about busting guns and selling coke and flipping keys all day, and it's like that's not something I fall into the category of. I don't want to just entertain people with some imaginary made up shit all the time. It's like get creative, but I want to tell it my way, and I just never felt accepted. Uh, and I think about it, and I'm like, of course that causes some of my depression, but like, what's the purpose of it? It's like if there is a God or a universe or whatever, like, did it really put me here to just suffer and like focus on the rejection of the negative side of it, like my entire long ass life that I'm like been living? It's not that. That's not the purpose, because that would make no sense. That just does. It's like I'm really put here to just like suffer and literally like be depressed all my life. Like, nah, I'm put here to use it and use this story to do something with it. Um, and use the energy to do something with it, like martial arts. It's like taking that energy, taking a punch and redirecting the punch and taking attacks and like, you know, Wing Chun in it. Um, and yeah, I'm like, damn, maybe I'm supposed to write a book or something. Uh, would y'all buy my book if I got a book? Yo, all right, let's see. My guy, Hollow Vegeta. But it sound like you're too dope to be depressed. Work it out. Some we always choose our path. Sets world parts if you heard Michi X speak on Tariq. You might feel different about dude. I do not know who Michi X is. I don't care. Nobody from the song. Should the struggle, please don't. It's enough lie rappers. Word. Yeah, yeah. Depression, I don't think it's like a choice. Uh it is a choice. Everything is a choice. Kanye said slavery was a choice. Choices, right? That's another interesting topic. So growing up for me, even in the suburb, like I like mostly grew up in the suburbs. I started off in the hood. Mom worked her way out of East Orange, out of Newark, East Orange, Orange, and then to Montclair, which is like, you know, the suburbs outside of the hood. Uh, I look at my experience as choices. There are less choices in East Orange and Orange and Newark. There are less choices than in Montclair, where Montclair, you know, we have, or there were, I think, a little bit more choices as far as education, as far as like what you do in the streets and what you do with your life after school. Um, and even in the suburbs of Montclair, I didn't see a lot of choices. It's like you nice at ball, or you was just a nerd in the and into the books. And like there, I didn't know no popular nerds that was getting pussy. Like that was just into the books. So sports, education, or the streets. It was just like on some, you know, the 1 to 9 program, or the, what was it, the 3 to 9 program? I forget. It was like an after school program for the bad kids. It was like pre jail, like pre jail before you graduate to doing juvie, and then like, you know, real jail. But yeah, it was like there weren't a lot of choices. So everything is a choice, but as a boy, like I want to get girls, I want to be popular, I want to like do things in life. If you weren't on some street shit, if you weren't like, you know, doing these things, for most people, they go down that path even if they don't have to, even if you don't have to, you know, steal cars, you know, join a gang and like be on some street shit. Um some people just do it just because you're a nobody if you don't. So it's like, what are the choices in that situation? Yeah, the choices. You could just force yourself to like try and read books in a system that doesn't really accept you as a black man, or like be on some gang shit. And yeah, so it's like slavery during those times. It's like they all the slaves could have rebelled and said, no, we ain't doing that shit. We don't give a fuck if you kill our babies, rape our women. We don't care what you threaten us with. We're not going. And if that, you know, it's like that could have happened, but they didn't give them a lot of choices. So I think like there's always a choice. Depression, I could choose to not think about uh the the story, my story. My story is pretty sad. Like my story is like my human existing story. It's a lot of sadness. It's a lot of trauma. And if I think about it, that's when depression happens. And I could choose to not think about it, but it's not always so easy. You know what I mean? And I think that's just like in this reality of like where we are right now in life, man, people are depressed. You know, this nigga Green Ranger offed himself. Like Green Ranger was my hero, a lot of people's heroes growing up, and like it's a tough battle, you know, and it's but there is a choice, you know what I mean? And just like homie said, like uh just like you said, like um I'm too dope to be depressed. Yo, that's the thing too about like functional depression. It's like um I have income, I have a house, roof over my head, I have food, my bills are paid, I get bitches, and yeah, like life is dope, but like that shit don't matter. A lot of that don't really matter that much when it comes to like mental health. Uh, you know? But yeah, anyways, rejection. Turning that rejection into something. Taking that energy, you know what I mean? Dipping that shit. Bong. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna see what's up, yo. I need to do more with this, all these things I've been through, and all of the growing up I had to do. I had to grow up fast, you know what I mean? Like when you grow up without parents, um, I had to be a man at 13. I just, you know, and because it was like I don't know if it's a good thing, or I love it. Like I love being a hustler. I love getting into it, but it's like 13. The trigger was just like, yo, if I don't get it, I'm going to die. It's like literally, I got to get money and survive and feed myself, or I'm gonna be left to shit. And that's what created me, you know. And I'm like, that's what shaped me. And yeah, I'm gonna do more with it. I'm gonna I need to write a book. Let me know if y'all buy my book. If I wrote a book, let me know if I wrote a book, would y'all buy my shit? If I publish my first book, I feel like I need to. But anyways, yo, appreciate y'all checking me out. Subscribe, like, share, and yeah, have a good day. Have a happy holiday and all of that.